My workout routine, and in particular, why am I taking 8,000 steps per day? Like, what made me decide upon taking 8,000 steps per day in conjunction with the actual workout splits that I'm using to essentially recomposition my body here? Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Hyder. Uh, I'm currently a father. I got a couple of kids here. I got a wife, and I'm about 50 pounds overweight. And I'm trying to set an example here, and I'm trying to take care of my body a little bit better than what I have over the past few years. So, when I was coming up and I was trying to figure out, like, okay, why do I want to get in shape? Right? When I was coming up with this big why answer, I mean, I gave you my answer in the last video, guys, where I have a baby that has Down syndrome, and because of that, she has some delays to her motor skills, and that's going to cause some issues with walking and mobility, and essentially, I got to get up off the couch. I got to start moving around. I got to help this baby get up and down the stairs until she developmentally catches up. But in addition to that, it's just set an overall example for my family and also to take care of my health. I've had health concerns. Starting in my mid 30s, guys, things started going sideways for me from a health perspective. And when I was trying to organize my routine, what I realized quickly is I've lost weight before. I mean, I lost an incredible amount of weight back when I was actually coaching and teaching. I went on the ketogenic diet for a period of time, and it's because I had a very high A1C. I was at like a 9.6. I was a type 1 a type 1. I was a type 2 diabetic, and I had a lot of work to do, guys. I mean, there's some scary things that come along with type 2 diabetes. Like, you're definitely putting your long-term health and wellness in jeopardy being a type 2 diabetic, to be quite honest. So I went to the ketogenic diet in order to basically cut those pounds off, and I got down to about 142 pounds. I was pretty dang thin, but I noticed the problem. Had to do with body recomposition, and kind of like, while I was getting thinner, the thinner and thinner I got, I started noticing I went from kind of looking a little healthy to, if I took my shirt off, I looked kind of fat, to be quite honest, as skinny as I was. I had some definition kind of coming in my upper chest and around, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But like, man, my belly and stuff like that, guys, I just couldn't get the fat off of it. And I wasn't very strong in the gym. Even though I was going and I was working out, I could not actually fuel the workouts well enough. And I'm not blaming the diet for this, guys. Some of this has to do with my own inabilities, right? This, my own maturity. I had to grow up a little bit in terms of understanding when it comes to this particular diet. But since then, I don't follow that kind of diet anymore. But it was my starting path. It was my journey, if you will. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm going to be more on a high protein style diet, guys, where I am going to use actual carbohydrates to fuel my workouts. And the workout that I've come down to kind of using is an adaptation. It is not MAPS anabolic. I want to be clear. They lay out their programs very specifically, and I see the program they're laying out there. I see the exercises they want me to do, but I've created my own bastardization using basically the program they set out there. Essentially, guys, I'm doing a 6-day-a-week workout. It's going to be a push-pull leg setup with 1 day of rest in between. And because I have worked out for a very long time, guys, I am not a newbie to working out. I understand that life happens. And partially, I like this kind of setup because if I miss an additional day, well, if I miss a day, I have a day built into my program and I can just slide my schedule to the remaining part of the week. If I miss 2 days, though, I can go right into a full body workout in that makeup day. Right, I can look and see what kind of exercises I was going to be missing between those two categories, and I can go right into a full body workout, guys, and I can kind of encompass everything, and I get myself back on track again. That's why I kind of like doing this type of thing. So I'm doing like kind of a push, a pull, and a legs front with 1 day of rest there. And in addition, I'm also borrowing from like a concept like MAPS 15. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm structuring 2 15 to 20-minute workouts per day, one in the morning, one in the evenings. So that way nothing is overtaxing on my body. I can eat and recover well enough from doing all this stimulus, and I can measure strength gains. I know if I'm moving weight, I know very clearly through measurements whether or not I'm actually recompositioning my body, if recomp is taking place. The 8,000 steps I'm doing because your body's going to adjust, guys. Once you start dieting, once you start exercising, your body's going to realize that it's losing fat, and it's going to adjust to you, and it's going to hit your metabolism hard eventually. And one of the ways it does this is what they call NEAT. So, you're kind of that non-exercise activity. So when you get to that space, one of the easiest ways to kind of make up for that, guys, is to basically walk more, right? So maybe you don't blink as much. Maybe you don't tap your feet as much. Maybe you don't, you're not all twitchy. Maybe you don't move around. Maybe you conserve more energy during the day. But if you can stay consistent with walking, I think it makes it easy to kind of help make that a gradual process. Like you're always going to slow down a little bit as you keep losing weight, but it gives me levers to pull later on to either increase my steps or to run a little bit. I'm never going to run more than 3 miles in a day, guys, unless I start training for, half marathons, triathlons, unless I'm competing. If I made a decision in this, process of getting healthy and we meet this goal and we're looking for, the next video idea, I might compete in something. And then, yes, it would change my routine, but that's not what I'm doing right now, guys. That would be separate. Right now, I'm trying to save my cardio until I'm getting down to those last little parts where it's getting harder and harder to cut the weight. And I may never even need to do it. But I do think it's important to be a hybrid athlete, guys. I am prior military. I think it's important to be able to lift heavy and to be able to run a little bit. I'm not talking about long distance, guys. Like I said, between 1 to 3 miles is when I say run. I got a lot to make up for, guys. I have a lot to get started because right now, if I'm being very honest, I don't think that I'm pushing a sub 10-minute mile. Too far overweight, too far, deconditioned. In terms of walking, I have very clear objectives, very clear goals to get myself to the 8,000 steps. To begin with, by 10 a.m. every morning, guys, I shoot to get at least 2,500 steps by 10 a.m. Okay? By 1 p.m., I'm shooting and I'm looking to try to get myself towards 5,000 steps. Because I found out once I get by 1 p.m., if I'm at 5,000 steps, if I just do some simple task around the house, I pick one area of the house to kind of like do something with, right? I work outside in the yard for 20 to 30 minutes, right? I clean the upstairs. Yesterday, I took some neutral pH and mopped all the floors in the kitchen, the dining room, and in like our sitting room area, right? I did all that kind of like to kind of help facilitate some steps. As long as you find like one of those objects a day to do that, I normally only have to do like maybe a small 10-minute walk at the end of the night after I eat some dinner, and I'm already at like 9,000 steps by the time I do that. And like, right now I can kind of take a look because, days that I'm filming like today, I do have to be a little bit more cognizant because it does take away for some of my steps, but I can take a look real quick and show you. Right now, when I just looked at my watch, it's like 11:51 and I'm at 3,600 steps. So essentially I got about another hour after I get done filming this video and I need to hit about 1,500 more steps, guys. So that way I'm, that's a pretty small walk and I'll be in a pretty good spot. Now I'll show you that on my watch real fast. So you can see exactly where I am, the date, the time, and how many steps I'm at right this second. I'm trying to make these small, actionable steps. I don't want to do anything crazy drastic to begin with. I just want to start making my body recognize I'm trying to do something different. So I'm taking steps. I'm starting off by making sure that I'm able to do push-ups. Right now I'm at, 5 sets of 10 push-ups, 50 push-ups when I do my, my push exercises, okay? When I do my pull exercises, I'm not able to do one pull-up. I have a video. This is my first video on this channel where I talked about that. I have a plan outlined for how I'm going to get to that first pull-up, right? Kind of doing those things to condition my body to do that. And at the very end of this video, I'll link it for you so you can see it. It's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. I need to have these very simple, actionable steps so that way I don't cater on it, right? I mean, right now, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm getting about 0.8 grams of protein per ideal, leanness in terms of my body mass. So essentially what I'm looking for, guys, is like, as long as I'm at 130 grams of protein, I know I'm going to be okay, from a metabolic standpoint, but I do shoot for 150 grams of protein or more, to be quite honest. I look for 150 to 165 is my ideal range of protein for consumption in terms of my meals. Outside of that, guys, I try to cook at home, right? I try to make smart decisions. I try to cook at home. I try to get as lean of meats as I can get. I mean, I'm just like you guys. This economy's hitting me the same way it's hitting you. I ain't rich. I do the best I can. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every time I go out there, I'm getting, lean grass-fed beef. I mean, I love it. I just think, I ain't got the cash flow for that on a weekly basis, to be quite honest. I'm trying to do these actionable steps, 8,000 steps, right? I'm trying to make sure that I work out at least 5 to 6 times per week. I make sure that I put in these fail safes to make this functional, right? I do 15-minute workouts twice a day because I do have a baby here that I got to take care of. I do things to try to stay actionable, to try to make these small changes, right? And then as I, prove to myself, to be quite honest, and I become more reliable to myself, and I show that I can handle more responsibility, then I might start tweaking things even more, right? I might work out a little bit longer. I might, start adding in more steps if I hit a stall, right? I might hey, I might even stricten up the diet even more. Like, hey, you know what? I've been doing really good. You know what? I might try to do some recipes one more day a week. Right now, I only really try to go on crazy recipe ventures like maybe on a Friday or Saturday night. Most of the time, I pretty much eat pretty consistently the same grouping of foods. I love eggs in the morning, guys. So I'll eat eggs in the morning. I'll normally try to scramble them up with maybe some spinach or something like that. I'll throw a little bit of cheese on there so I get some fats in there with the egg, and then I'll have a carb source. A lot of times I'm not gonna lie to you. Outside of just the vegetables, it'll be bread, things like that. Sometimes I might have some potatoes left over, and I might throw some potatoes in there. Sometimes I have some lean beef left over or some lean meat. Could be any kind of meat really, pork, chicken, whatever, and I might throw that in with the eggs. That's pretty much my breakfast, guys. I don't stray away from that, to be quite honest. I love to make protein shakes. I can make them almost like kind of a milkshake kind of consistency or a smoothie kind of consistency, and they're nice and thick, and they're decent. Um, I will make salads with chicken. I like to go to Costco and then get their shredded chicken meat that they kind of put, their rotisserie chicken that they kind of pick and they put it inside those packages. I like to have those on hand a couple times a month just because like it makes for easy lunches with some salad. I'll use some tomatoes and olives and things like that in my salad. I make my own dressing, to be quite honest. Outside of that, guys, my dinner is pretty much always the same. It's going to be some form of rice or some form of potatoes for the carbohydrates, normally speaking. I'll throw greens in there. It could be mixed greens, could be Brussels sprouts, could be broccoli. It's pretty much going to be pretty similar almost every day, to be quite honest with those. And then I have a lean source of protein, guys. So I'll have something like chicken. I'll have something like ground beef. I'll have something like, steak if I can afford it. You know what I mean? Like pork, it doesn't matter. It's just going to be a lean beef, and I'm not going to stray too much from that. I want these recipes to be nice and simple, to be quite honest. And then I work in those steps and things, guys. I try to keep these things very, very actionable. Steps are a big part of it, guys. Like I said, by 10 a.m., 2,500 steps. By 1 p.m., 5,000 steps. At least one time during the day, I find something I can do around this freaking house. Clean up the living room. Mop the floors. Today, I'm probably going to go up there and work on my bedroom, to be quite honest, and then I'm going to go into my loft, and I'm going to clean up the loft area, which is where I do a lot of the editing, and I film a lot of videos up there, too, in my loft. It's kind of my workspace, my studio, if you will. I'm going to clean those two areas up so I get more steps in, right? Staying kind of active, right? I got the baby. This baby keeps me pretty active because she calls me every 5 seconds in her baby babble. With that said, guys, I mean, that's my plan. That's the actual plan for like how I'm trying to get my steps. It's nothing fancy. A lot of times, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'll even show you. You can come with me. I'll show you. Ready? I will literally grab this camera just like so, and I will walk around with you. And you can see I just go to my oven, or I'll just use my watch, and I just walk for like 10, 15 minutes, guys. I just kind of walk around my house just like this. This is my bottom floor. I just come around and walk here. What's up, Frey Frey? That's my doggy. And then I walk through here. I walk through my kitchen. All right. I come through here. This baby's done moved her way off the mat, so I got to pick her up in a second. Give me 1 minute. But yeah, I just kind of like walk. I just walk around the house, guys. It ain't got to be nothing fancy. If I can get outside and I can walk through the neighborhood, I will. You can see my baby's all the way on the hardwood. Give me 1 second, bro. I got to fix this. All right. And then we walk. You can see I got my walking partner, and I just keep making these loops, guys. Sometimes I go outside and I walk. Sometimes I just do this. I'm sorry, I know this is shaking. The baby is moving all around. And we passed my Frey Frey for the second time. What are you doing, girl? And then I just keep on going and walking, guys. That's the plan. And that's how I get it done. I just move my body. Simple as this. That's it, guys. It's not that hard. I walk around the neighborhood when I can. I'll walk around the park when I can. But most of the time, I just walk around this freaking house. I do activities in the house. I do activities in my yard. I walk around my yard. I just try to stay active any way possible. It doesn't take that much. I know the excuses, guys, I've done on myself. I've been through a million excuses. I've found every dang excuse in the book, to be quite honest with you. And I'll admit that I'm kind of proud of myself because for the past like 3 weeks in particular, man, I ain't missed it. I got 8,000 steps every single day. I found this a really easy routine of doing it. Just like, hey, man, by 10 o'clock, make sure you got 2,500 steps. By 1 o'clock, make sure you got 5,000 steps. Dude, just do one thing around the house per day. It's probably going to give you at least normally 700 to 1,500 steps. It's going to help you because by the time you sit down for dinner, you're probably already at 6,000, 7,000 steps. And basically after that point, you just got a couple, just a small 10, 15-minute walk, and you're there. You've hit your step goal for the day. And that's how I do it, guys. I don't it's nothing fancy. Um I've been dropping pounds. I mean, I can, that's going to be another video for another day, sir. Ma'am, sir, I can show you how crazy that scale can be. That scale goes up and down. It depends on your sleep, how much water you're holding. There's so much crap that can cause that stuff to go up and down and fluctuate. It's not even funny. I've had a roller coaster the past week in terms of what that scale showed, and it finally showed true progress today. That's why, it's good to know what's happening on the scale. It's good to see that stuff happens. But also, if that messes with your mind too much, it is kind of advisable to maybe just do that starting weight and then check every few days. Don't be so diligent every day if it's going to mess with you mentally. I could definitely subscribe to that, guys. I support it personally. It just depends. Me, it doesn't bother me. I've done gain and lost weight so many times in my life. Like, ain't no big deal. All right, y'all. If you guys are wondering, how am I going to go about doing this pull-up goals, man? Like, can you pull your body weight up? You seem a little hefty there, buddy. I am a little hefty there. I can't do a pull-up right now. It's kind of embarrassing, to be quite honest about it. I really, I ain't happy about that. It's not exactly a good look for me. However, I'll show you step by step what my plan is to be able to do a pull-up. If you look and click on that video right there. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all's time and attention, and I'll see you guys on the next video.